Chris Galesel here with
Peter Dinklage.
And this week on the first run, Dave, there was nothing to see in the theaters. Nothing. It was as if Hollywood just said, you know what? Summer season's over. To hell with it. We're all going to go home until the fall. So we decided to curl up on our separate couches and check out some on-demand indie stuff with The One I Love. We're also going to review the big releases on Blu-ray and DVD featuring Dave's streaming pick of the week. Then it's a chance for us, well, for me, to escape my dreary, depressing life and pretend to be somebody cool for once with Who Dat. But before we jump into all of that, let's hear a clip from The One I Love.
So since we're just kind of like dipping our toes in here, I think maybe we shouldn't spend too much time in there the first go around.
Okay. How's 15 minutes sound?
Yeah, I think that's good. Hello? Whoa, fascinating.
Tell me. Do you understand how insane you sound right now? It's so weird.
It's really odd.
It's like a perfect retreat. Just the two of you. I've sent a lot of couples there, and they've all come back renewed.
Is it another dimension when you go through the door?
You want to go back?
This is something that we've been talking about. Creating a new relationship.
I imagine like horseback riding with a little satchel of wine, you know? Not some weird version of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. We'll make up some ground rules.
Okay, no spying. We'll be honest with each other about what happens in the house.
It's like an exercise in trust. Sophie? You're kidding me. Sophie, open the door!
Okay, Ethan.
How do you see this playing out?
I'm not leaving.
This entire weekend has been one planned trap. Sophie, I'm stuck! Cheers.
Cheers.
To a perfect weekend together.
So Dave, The One I Love. All right, so we have it's just your typical relationship drama with a little bit of comedy thrown in, right? Except it's not that at all. We have Mark Duplass, if you're familiar with his work in The League and then the Mumblecore movement that he and his brother, I guess, basically started around 2008. And then Elisabeth Moss from Mad Men plays Sophie. And the two of them are working with their therapist, played by Ted Danson, and the therapist suggests that they go to this little retreat house up someplace to kind of rejuvenate their relationship. And from there, things get weird. Now, this is one of those movies, Dave, where we're kind of stuck, right? We can't really give away too much.
Don't want to give away much at all.
Okay. So, my whole thing was how I wanted to... All right, I'm going to run something past you, and if you think it's too far, we'll go ahead and delete it, except I probably won't. I think that this kind of was a Twilight Zone episode crossed with a relationship drama. Is that too much?
No, that's perfect. That is given away by the trailer.
Okay.
That there's something strange,
Yes.
you know?
Fair enough. So, and I think for me, that's like the perfect explanation for what this film is. It's at times funny. It's very sweet. It's sad and always odd. Mm-hmm. I think the film has this kind of high concept, fantastical kind of premise.
Yep.
That could easily kind of get out of control. But I think that not just the direction by newcomer Charlie McDowell, but the performances by Moss and Duplass really kind of keep the film grounded enough where the fantasticism of everything, it doesn't go off the tracks. Right. I don't know. It's kind of my basic thought. What did you think?
I agree with you. I thought that Mark Duplass was actually really good in this movie. He has to do something in this movie that I thought he pulled off really, really well, and he does it throughout the movie. He's really convincing as the character that he plays. I was actually really, really impressed by it. I expected to get, a good enough performance by him, and what I got, I thought was really something special. I love the concept of the movie. I thought it was really interesting. I love how it ended up, how it kind of it wrapped up in a really interesting way. And the whole movie, to me, was just like it was built on something that was a really interesting concept. I'll be honest though, I would prefer to see it in a Twilight Zone episode, a little bit shorter. I think it could have been condensed down to a much smaller format, and it would have been ultimately a more entertaining thing.
Yeah, I agree. I felt that at times it seemed to kind of run out of gas. I think that's the perfect thing, is that if they could have truncated it a bit, like that's my big complaint for Shyamalan's The Sign. What's the one? No, The Village. The Village would have been a great, like 45-minute, hour-long Twilight Zone episode, not an hour-long film.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same issue here. Another thing too, that the mystery of the film is frustrating at times, because there's never, I don't know, they don't really give away a lot. And I was kind of frustrated because a lot of the questions that are posed, you never really get answers for. Yeah. But I think that's, in a way, I think that's a good decision.
Yeah, that's okay to me. You know, as long as it's not, you know, what it does for me is it actually allows me to kind of think about the movie after I've already seen it. If all those questions are answered, it's just this like done thing. It's complete. Like I got my experience out of it. But when there's these kind of things, you know, they're insinuated, but not necessarily, you know, spelled out for you. It allows you to kind of think about the movie afterward. And, you know, if you saw it with somebody, actually talk about, do you think this is what it was? Do you think that's what it was? You know, and I always kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
You really only can have that conversation with somebody who's seen the movie.
That's true. That's true. And there's what I thought was interesting too, is a lot of the implications of what's happening at this house never really gets involved, because there's some really kind of dark and sinister stuff, maybe like just so much you can say without saying anything.
I know. I really don't want to spoil this movie because I feel like it would really ruin the movie.
Yeah. So that's all I'm going to say, is that's another, I think, possible shortcoming of the film, is it didn't explore its concept far enough for me. I think,
which is unfortunate, because we both think that there's room in the movie for more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
because
too bad.
You're right, because there are times when we kind of see these. There are similar scenes in the film over and over again, that kind of play themselves out. So yeah, it would have been nice to kind of fill in maybe some of that empty time with more information, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I get the feeling that though you did enjoy it, because I did as well.
I did enjoy it. I'm not. If it was in theaters, I'd probably be harsher on it. But since I got to watch it at home, I thought it was a relatively enjoyable thing. My major complaint is just that it was too long for the concept. Like you said it perfectly. If it was a Twilight Zone episode, it would have been perfect.
So what's your recommendation for the kids at home?
I'm going to say check it out. If it looks interesting, if the trailer is enough to get you to be interested in it, give it a watch. It's good enough.
Yeah, I've seen some traffic on it on Facebook from people that I don't normally associate with movies, so I think that's good. And I think it's definitely worth the rental. I think it was like $7. So if you kind of like, strong performances, kind of a mind bender of a concept, but interesting throughout, I think it's at least worth a rental. And you know what, Dave? Maybe not even 6 months, this will show up on Netflix. Yeah. So you can check it out then.
Yeah.
That's what I love. That's one of my favorite things about Netflix, is that these kind of smaller independent films, they always show up there. Without
really
fail.
Quick, too.
So if you had a chance to see The One I Love, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Plus, we'd love to get into some of the details and talk about it with somebody that we can't talk about now. So
it's hard to do a movie review when you can't talk about anything that happened in the movie.
Exactly. So we'd love to hear from you, and keep the conversation going, as they say that I can't stand. All right. So we're going to take a break, come back, and then I'm going to fill in what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, September 16th. Dave, we're now distanced a little bit from the big release coming out on Blu-ray this week. I made a bold statement, and now I want to kind of rehash that. Maybe do I feel the same way? Have you changed on your perception of it a little bit? We'll get into that when we get back.
Look, I'm tired of talking to you about this. I want my son. I want to see my son. I want to know that he's all right. This guy knows. He knows where he is. Muskuwa Dokoda. I want my son. And I want my bag and discs. And I want to talk to somebody in charge, not you. No, not you. I'm done talking to you. All right? Well, you're looking at me right now like I'm in a fish tank, right? That's fine, because I know what happened here. And you keep telling everybody that this place is a death zone, but it's not. You're lying. Because what's really happening is that you're hiding something out there. I'm right, aren't I? My wife died here. Something killed my wife. And I have a right to know. I deserve answers.
That's right, Dave. Godzilla, the 2014 remake, is being released on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday. And I proclaimed that this was Jaws-level summer entertainment when this film came out. And you know what? I'm standing by it until I see it again. But I just clearly remember being blown away by this film, how much I loved it, how it delivered everything I was looking for. The only shortcomings being kind of the relationship between Aaron Johnson and Ashley Olsen, how I didn't really kind of buy into that. But the rest of it, spot on, top shelf entertainment.
I can't even remember who the main character of that movie was. Like, he was that unextraordinary.
Who, you mean Godzilla?
No, the guy, like the dude who, I think he's in the army or something. He's running around the country like.
Yeah, it's Aaron Johnson. Nobody cares. It's all about Godzilla versus the Muto. All right, that's all that
Very
matters.
tubby Godzilla.
That's right.
He's big boned. God damn it.
Exactly. So you pick up Godzilla. There's a 3D version, includes a 3D Blu-ray, DVD, and an ultraviolet stream. There's a metal pack you can get, Dave, where you hit a little button and you hear the classic Godzilla roar.
Nice.
There's a Target exclusive Rebirth of an Icon featurette. Walmart has its own individual cover, and Best Buy is supposed to have a steelbook as well. There's Monarch Declassified, which includes explosive new evidence, Dave, not contained in the film. Exactly. It's going to change everything. And then there's the legendary Godzilla go behind the scenes of the film. But I'll be picking this up. And you know what's interesting too? Best Buy has this program. They've been doing this for a couple weeks now, where you can get the Blu-ray for $10 if you buy any TV season too. I guess they're really trying to push their TV series.
That's not bad. That's a good deal, right?
Yeah, because I'm thinking about picking up Community Season 5, because that just came out with that. See if the pricing works out.
That sounds good. So Best Buy is carrying which versions?
Well, they'll have the 3D, the regular Blu-ray, and they're going to have their own steelbook. But I don't think the steelbook is part of the deal. I think this is just the regular Blu-ray.
Do people still buy 3D Blu-rays? Like, is that still a thing that's being sold?
They keep coming out with the big releases, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So the young adult film, what I mean about based on the young adult novels, not that it's like some weird young adult porn thing. The Fault in Our Stars includes a special version with an infinity bracelet, and you get to see an extended cut of the film. And there's a traditional, just regular cut of the film. If you buy it from Walmart, you get 2 song downloads, so it's got that going for it. And there are 6 promotional featurettes and 6 deleted scenes as well. Think Like a Man 2, the sequel to Think Like a Man, is being released, where the couples all get together again and go to Vegas for a wedding. The first one, Think Like a Man, was a huge hit. Unfortunately, this one, not as much. Dave, there's another film coming out I want to check out from Scream Factory called The Battery. Have you heard of The Battery?
No, tell me more.
Coming out on Blu-ray.
It's a haunted AA.
That's right. You're close. 2 former ball players, Ben and Mickey, cut an aimless path across a desolate New England. They've definitely been there. They stick to the back roads and forests to stay clear of the shambling corpses that patrol the once bustling cities and towns. This is a zombie movie, Dave. In order to survive, they must overcome the stark differences in each other's personalities. Ben embraces an increasingly feral, lawless, and nomadic lifestyle, while Mickey is unable to accept the harsh realities of the new world and longs for the creature comforts he once took for granted. A bed, a girl, a safe place to live. When the men intercept a radio transmission from a seemingly thriving, protected community, maybe it's Terminus, Mickey will stop at nothing to find it, even though it's made perfectly clear that he's not welcome. This is actually supposed to be a pretty good film.
This
for your
came out
low-budget horror.
On iTunes when it was released in theaters. I remember watching the trailers for it. I'm almost positive.
I think you're right. Includes commentary with the writer, producer, director, and star, wearing a lot of hats, Jeremy Gardner. Includes some other featurettes, a 90-minute documentary on the making of the film called Tools of Ignorance, and then some outtakes. Bert's
Tools
Buzz.
of Ignorance. I like that.
That's right. Bert's Buzz, if you're not familiar, Dave, is a documentary about Bert Shavitz, who's the guy behind Burt's Bees.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be pretty good, so...
It looks good. I've seen the trailer for this, too. It looks pretty good.
Now you can check that out. New to Blu-ray, a new 4K master for Ghostbusters is being released. You can get it as a digipack with Ghostbusters 1 and 2. There's a gift set that has a Slimer statue as well. Comes with a Blu-ray digital copy. 3 all-new features, including a Ghostbusters retrospective, which includes a roundtable discussion with Ivan Reitman and Dan Aykroyd, a new poster gallery, and a new... Well, it says a new Ghostbusters music video by Ray Parker Jr., but I don't know if it just means now for the first time it's included. I don't think Ray Parker Jr. created a new video for the song. I feel bad for the guy, too.
It'd be awesome if he did.
He never sees a dime for that.
He doesn't?
No. He gets sued by Huey Lewis because they said it was ripping off I Want a New Drug.
It did.
So every dime goes to Huey Lewis for that song.
Well, good job, Huey Lewis.
That's right. And then, of course, includes all the previous content from the original releases. You can get Ghostbusters 2 as well. Remember, you can buy them individually or as part of this digipack. There's all new deleted scenes. The roundtable discussion part 2 is only available on Ghostbusters 2. And then now they've included, once again, On Our Own, the music video from Bobby Brown. Did he record an all-new music video for that? Only one way to find out. Dave, you have any interest in picking up Ghostbusters on Blu-ray? It's a classic, right?
I would like to have a plastic Slimer on my shelf.
There you go. So that's what it was. That's what it took for Dave to buy it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 40th anniversary. It comes out with a digipack. There's also a version you can get called the Black Maria Deluxe Edition, where you can get a Leatherface apron for entertaining, a theatrical mini poster. There's a cattle truck packaging, so the whole thing comes, Dave, like in a big cattle truck.
Really?
It's not life size. It's scaled down. And then all new bonus content, 2 new audio commentaries, one with Toby Hooper, and another with cinematographer, editor, and sound recordist. 2 additional audio commentaries, which are the older ones. Then a whole bunch of featurettes, including a blooper reel, outtakes. I'd love to see a blooper reel of Leatherface.
Blooper reel.
Drops
he
the
just
hammer.
Stops. He's like, "Hey, what's my line?"
That'd be great. Ooh, a tour of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house with Gunnar Hansen. That might be interesting. There's a whole... They went all out with this thing, as well as a new 4K transfer. It's supposed to look fantastic for a film that always looked horrible. So we'll see how that comes out. Criterion is giving us Eraserhead, David Lynch's first film. Includes a new 4K digital restoration, 2000 documentary, as well as 6 short films of David Lynch's from early in his career. 6 Figures Getting Sick, The Alphabet, The Grandmother, The Amputee, Parts 1 and 2, and then Premonitions Following an Evil Deed, all with video introductions by Lynch. And also you'll have a trailer and some archival interviews as well. Silent Night, Deadly Night, one of my Christmas traditions, is getting a 30th anniversary release on Blu-ray. Have you ever seen Silent Night, Deadly Night?
No, I missed that one.
It is really bad. And Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 is even
so
worse. If you haven't seen Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, it's one of the greatest bad movies of all time. And Nutty Professor, 50th Anniversary Edition, is being released. The Spanish horror film Juan of the Dead, which I've always wanted to catch up with, is getting released on Blu-ray as well. Our Congo, Dreamcatcher, and The Great Train Robbery. Then Dave, finally, your straight-to-DVD pick of the week is Les Parent. I just wanted to say this because I am extremely offended by this stuff. It's you can't take kind of the gay community and just make fun of it by calling something Les Parent. All right, it's offensive. I know I don't want to get all PC with stuff, but it's. Hold on.
Chris?
Hold on. Hold on. Wait. I'm getting some. I'm being told that's actually Les Parents. That's French for the parents. So I'm gonna just kind of move on. Dave, what's your streaming pick of the week?
That was awkward. Hey, is Juan of the Dead on Netflix too? I kind of think.
I don't know. I'll have to check that out.
I think it is. I think I watched like the first 5 minutes of it and turned it off.
Ooh, that's not a good sign.
No, it's subtitled. I just was in the mood to read subtitles. Nothing to do with the quality of the movie.
Fair enough.
I went with A Simple Plan.
Ooh, good
It
one.
was just released on Netflix, and actually, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. This one stars Bill Paxton, Bridget Fonda, and Billy Bob Thornton, and is directed by Sam Raimi. When brothers Hank and Jacob discover a dead body and millions of dollars in cash in a downed plane, they plot to hide the loot and split it later. It's a simple plan until things go murderously awry amid suspicion and mistrust. This movie is like Murphy's Law, like watching it real time. It's so ridiculously bad for these people. Like everything that could possibly go wrong for these people does, and it's hugely entertaining. Bill Paxton is awesome. Billy Bob Thornton is really good in this movie. Bridget Fonda is actually my favorite character in this movie. She plays the wife of Bill Paxton, and she metamorphosizes during this movie. It's awesome. I love this movie.
I haven't seen this since it came out, but I remember absolutely loving it. And I just saw earlier this week that it hit Netflix, and I was very excited to kind of catch up with it again.
Yeah, this is a must-watch. If you haven't seen it, definitely check this one out. It's really good.
Yeah. And that's what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, September 16th. I'm going to take another break, come back, and it's role-playing time. I'm going to go get in my little leather outfit, and we are going to go to town.
I'm going to put my Leatherface apron on.
Nice.
Excuse me, Mr. Stark. Christine Everhart, Vanity Fair magazine. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
She's cute. She's all right. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
It's okay?
Okay, go.
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
And what do you say to your other nickname, the Merchant of Death?
That's not bad. Let me guess. Berkeley?
Brown, actually.
Well, Ms. Brown, it's an imperfect world, but it's the only one we've got. I guarantee you the day weapons are no longer needed to keep the peace, I'll start making bricks and beams for baby hospitals.
You rehearse that much?
Every night in front of the mirror before bedtime.
I can see that.
I'd like to show you firsthand.
All I want is a serious answer.
Okay, here's serious. My old man had a philosophy. Peace means having a bigger stick than the other guy.
That's a great line coming from the guy selling the sticks.
My father helped defeat the Nazis. He worked on the Manhattan Project. A lot of people, including your professors at Brown, would call that being a hero.
And a lot of people would also call that war profiteering.
Tell me, do you plan to report on the millions we've saved by advancing medical technology or kept from starvation with our IntelliCrops? All those breakthroughs, military funding, honey.
You ever lose an hour's sleep your whole life?
Be prepared to lose a few with you.
So, Dave, that was a clip from the launch, the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That was from Iron Man, starring Robert Downey Jr. First run favorite. You know, we should really do that one show, is rank just the first run's favorite actors. Like, who are the ones we all want to definitely go see?
It'd be fun. Do like a top 5 actors. We could do top 5 like action heroes and stuff like that.
We've done that, but just like, yeah, your top 5 draws. Like, if you see this guy in the movie, you're going to go see it.
Yeah.
It would have to be the honorary RDJ list, though, I think, because all we do is lavish praise on the man. So, we just heard the clip. If you're not familiar with Who Dat, that's our role-playing game where Dave and I get to inhabit the lives of much more interesting people. Dave, I'll start off because I did the Robert Downey Jr. clip. Here you go. That's who you are.
All right.
RDJ.
I feel like RDJ. Like I feel like that could be me in a different life.
Definitely. You have his. You're just easily as suave as him. You have his whole
I think so.
thing.
I've thought that many times.
As the French say, that certain I don't know what. No plans for an Iron Man 4.
What?
Say it isn't so. What's going on?
Look. It turns out that Marvel and Disney are a real pain in the ass to work with. They pay me a whole bunch of money, but I've already got a whole bunch of money. So it's like at some point, the work has to drive me more than the money. So sure, Marvel, Disney, they all want to pay me all this money to be in the next Iron Man movie, but the last one sucked, and I knew it while I was making it. Come on. Like, do you really want to see another Iron Man movie? Because I don't really want to make one.
I would be open to that, and I still think Iron Man 3 was better than Iron Man 2.
Okay.
Will you still stick around, though, for, like, big tentpole Avengers films? 'Cause I got to tell you, I don't think Disney can afford to let you go. I think you are... It's not Iron Man is not the tentpole. The Avengers are not the tentpole. Robert Downey Jr. is the reason that this thing continues to move forward. I believe that.
Look,
So
they are going to have to give me like an island or something because there's not enough money in the world to make a dent. You know, like I am literally like sitting on couches stuffed with $1,000 bills.
I feel like it's going to be a Brando thing where they're basically going to give you $50 million, like Superman. They're going to give you like $50 million to come in, do 10 minutes worth of Iron Man work for Avengers 3, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, I think that's where it's at. You know, I still like to act. I still like to be in these kind of more quirky movies. But this Iron Man thing, it's just wearing me down. You know, Disney just isn't treating us actors with respect, I feel like. And sure, they've paid me a whole bunch, but like, you know, I've made friends with other of these actors on set, and they're getting the short end of the stick, and that's not making me feel like I want to come back and do Iron Man 4 or Avengers 2 or whatever.
Well, I gotta admit, I was very impressed when you held out for Avengers Age of Ultron until everybody else got a raise.
You know who I am, man.
That's right. Like I had any doubt. What do you got for me?
All right. Chris, you are J.J. Abrams.
Nice.
I know. It's a good one. So, you just watched Guardians of the Galaxy, a movie that I feel personally is heavily inspired by Star Wars. It has a very similar feel. It's just a fun movie that happens in outer space, like all brand new rules. Just like I had a very similar experience sitting in the theater as to when I saw Star Wars. So now you're making the next Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything to be learned from Guardians of the Galaxy that you're going to take with you while you're making the next Star Wars movie?
No.
No?
I'm J.J. Abrams. What do I have to take? I get all of this already.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I revitalized the Star Trek franchise. And what did I do?
And that was a lot of fun.
It was. Exactly. I was able to inject some humor and some fun into that. Now, maybe it got a little, I don't know, maybe the plot, and I know some people aren't a big fan of the whole time travel thing, which we won't be doing much of here with Star Wars, so you don't have to worry about that. But there's really nothing I need to worry about. Maybe I'll grab James Gunn for a Star Wars spin-off film, because I do like his work in Guardians of the Galaxy. But I don't know if there's really anything else for me to learn from that I'm not already doing with my work. You need to trust me on this. You're going to love this stuff. It's going to be, we're talking Empire-level Star Wars goodness.
What?
Right.
Come on.
What else am I going to say? I'm J.J. goddamn Abrams. So it's going to be good. All right.
You make a strong point here.
It'll be...
Do you think you can find a role for Chris Pratt? Maybe put him in a Stormtrooper outfit?
We'll put him in there. We'll have him, yeah, definitely. We'll have him voice... we'll have him do that, and we'll have Bradley Cooper come in and voice Yoda's cousin. Everybody loved that stuff, so...
The tall, good-looking Yoda.
That's right. So, all right. So, Dave, you're Tom Cruise.
Hell yeah, I am.
We're on quite a streak this week.
Yeah.
You get all the good-looking actors.
Yeah.
I was going to give you a different one for the third one, but I'm not going to give you that one anymore because it's 3 good-looking guys in a row. You're not going to get it.
I feel like you're typecasting me.
It's Tom Cruise.
I'm more than just a pretty face, Chris.
You were in a fantastic sci-fi action movie that came out this summer called Edge of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Little high concept, maybe, but a ton of fun, and it worked completely. Yet, nobody went to go see it. So, your studio has rebranded the entire film. If you go to the IMDb page right now, it actually calls it's called now Live, Die, Repeat. And now Edge of Tomorrow is just a tagline. Is that really going to work?
Change the name of the movie? I saw the poster that says that.
Yep.
I didn't realize it changed the name of the movie.
If you go to the IMDb page, it says Live, Die, Repeat. Is that going to be enough to boost the Blu-ray and rental sales? Do you think that's really going to help make the budget back? And conceptually, do you think that's a good idea, or is it?
That's a dumb idea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you now have lost any. There's probably people out there who saw this movie come out. The trailer looked interesting, but for whatever reason, they didn't go see it. But now, none of those people are going to know what the hell you're trying to sell them on Blu-ray.
Right.
You know what? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That seems like just a dumb move.
Yeah, I don't really.
Speaking as Tom Cruise.
Right, of course. Which is, it's a shame because I think it's a great movie, and if they end up losing a potential audience of people like you say who are going to follow up and see it when it came out on video, then, or maybe they can just market it as a brand new direct-to-video Tom Cruise thriller.
Look, I'm a nice guy. Everybody knows I'm a nice guy.
A little weird, but nice.
Let me tell you, studios are filled with idiots. I am on a hit streak right now. I did Jack Reacher. That was good. I did, what was that sci-fi movie I did last year? That was good.
Oh, Oblivion?
Yeah. I did Tropic Thunder. I did, what was the one? I've done a bunch of good stuff lately.
Yes, you have.
Ghost Protocol was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I've been knocking it out of the park here. And usually I'm humble, but you forced me to move past humble. These people are idiots. Why would you do that? You're losing any brand recognition you have for Edge of Tomorrow by rebranding it to something else. Who's going to buy this on Blu-ray now? Who's going to say, "Oh, I've been looking forward to this movie since. Oh wait, I've never heard of it. Let me move on. What's next to it? Oh, here's Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll pick this up instead." Like, what the fuck? Whose decision was this? Like, who do we got to fire? That's the question I have right now.
Well, the other thing too is that it makes people think that the problem with the movie was the title.
Yeah.
Which is because it must. I assume it was the marketing, or people just played out on this stuff. I don't know. Well, you know what? I don't want to say anymore because I'm going to get into that with my final question. So what do you got?
People are played out with time travel, and that might have been enough just to get people to not go. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I was in it, so I don't know why people didn't go.
Quite good in it too.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, Chris. You are Chris.
Nice.
Pratt.
Oh, even better.
What's next, man? Like, Guardians of the Galaxy was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just going to be, are you stuck to the Marvel thing for now? Are you going to be doing more TV work? Are you going to start doing some indie films, show that you can actually act like serious roles? What are you going to be doing? What's next for Chris Pratt?
Well, first up, I'm going to be finishing up the final season of Parks and Rec, which I'm very excited about. Great show if you haven't seen it. Next, I'd like to do some indie work. Maybe call up Allison Brie, see if she's available for drinks. I'm going to hopefully continue to be in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, and hopefully we can get tied in with the Avengers stuff, because we're all in the same universe. So maybe for Avengers 3, when the Thanos stuff
bum me out.
happens, we all come together. Why would that bum you out?
I don't know. I'm not that big into the Avengers or the whole Marvel Universe things, but Guardians of the Galaxy was different because it felt like a brand new, fresh thing. It wasn't just another superhero movie. It didn't have that feel of the Marvel movies, and that's why I liked it so much. I think that's one of the reasons I liked it so much. So to just have those characters get pulled into an Avengers movie would kind of bum me out a little bit.
Possibly. So my next thing then, like you said, is I'm going to do some nice kind of independent dramatic work. And then I say, Dave, my plan is in 5 years to have an Academy Award. Maybe start with something in Best Supporting Actor. I'll be the funny guy who's helping the kid with, I don't know, what's big now? ALS? Everybody loves that. So we'll do something like that. And in 10 years, I'm going to start directing. Yeah, the world's my oyster, Dave. That's really what all it is.
I would agree.
So there you go.
I think you made a big impression on a lot of people.
Dave, we love pulling this one out. You ready?
Yeah.
And I always forget if it's Johnny or Jimmy. I'm going to go Johnny Hollywood.
Johnny Hollywood. Here I am.
You have
Talk
seen...
faster. I ain't got time for this. Faster, Chris. Faster.
That's right. You are the president of Hollywood.
Walk.
You have seen one of the worst summer box offices ever. Now, I want to stress, you had the biggest August ever. But just because of basically Guardians of the Galaxy. Still, one of the worst performances. In fact, this last weekend, Dave, was the worst weekend in 6 years.
That's because I forgot to put out a movie.
Oh, that's my big question is for you is there anything to be worried about? Are people, are we tired of the superhero sequels, sci-fi, action, or have people just had enough?
This is nothing to worry about. Take it from Johnny Hollywood here. Johnny Hollywood's got all the answers for next year. We're going back to the basics. We're doing boobs and explosions next year. Big time. Big boobs, big explosions. We got 3 new Guardians of the Galaxy movies coming out next year.
Nice.
We got the prequel, the sequel, and a side story.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody should be going to the theaters at least 3 times for that. Plus, we got more naked women that you could shake your stick at. I'm telling you, you got nothing to worry about. Johnny Hollywood's got this one covered.
I'm glad. I feel so much better now. Yeah, I personally think, too, that this year is a kind of an aberration as well. Because you're looking next year at what? Superman and Batman. You're going to have the first Star Wars movies next year, right?
Yep.
So I think next year is going to be a huge year. I think this is just one of those just bad years. We've only had a few really good films.
Johnny Hollywood fucked up, right? We did emo Spider-Man 2. Maybe
Yep.
people are getting a little sick of Spider-Man. I'm not sure.
I think the problem was the reboot, like you said in the beginning. Well,
Yeah.
my co-host Dave said, not you, Johnny Hollywood.
We've had 5 Spider-Man movies lately, and rebooting, doing an origin story right after an origin story. Like, we at least do something like what Superman did, where it's like, okay, we already know he's Superman, like Superman Returns. We all know how successful I was when I made that movie.
Good times. What do you got? Anything else?
Yeah, I got one more for you.
All right.
Chris,
Yes.
you are Mr. Disney.
Mr. Disney?
Yeah, you
You
own
couldn't
Disney.
bother to look up who the chairman and CEO of Disney is.
It's Mr. Disney.
Okay, fair enough.
You own Marvel Studios and Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk crossover. When's it coming?
Well, the
Guardians
plan
of the Galaxy meets X-Wing.
that's the plan is for the Milano. You know what I love too about that?
I don't know if you should use that word in that way.
That Pratt's, or what's his name there? Star-Lord's ship is named the Milano, which is named after Alyssa Milano.
Okay. Oh, you can use that word in that way.
Yeah, thank you. But I love the fact that they never even explained it in the film why he calls it the Milano. Anyway, that's the plan, is to have the Milano meet up with the Millennium Falcon, actually.
Oh, my God. That
And
would
then-
be great.
Then what happens is Star-Lord and Han Solo meet, and then
Yeah.
the world and the universe just folds in on itself. So, and that's it.
Like, no swinger parties or anything? Key party with the Millennium Falcon and the Milano?
Milano.
Milano.
Yes. And it's going to be just like, I like it now. Whenever I think of that, when you say stuff like that, I think of the Lego movie with the Star Wars scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Possibly the best thing that happened in film this year.
you know what? No, we're not. There's no. I think if we were to have the two series meet, why not throw in Buzz and Woody too? I just think it's too much. I think that they're their own separate revenue streams.
You're about to give Jimmy Hollywood a boner.
They are their own revenue streams, and just like Ghostbusters, you don't cross the streams. All right, you don't want to turn this whole thing into a parody. So, though it's tempting, no, because you also have their own mythologies, and let's not forget, Dave, Star Wars takes place in a galaxy far, far away, but also a long time ago.
Oh.
Not in the
We got
present.
J.J.
in the future.
Abrams doing the Star Wars movie. We got time travel
That's
written
true.
all over this bitch.
That's true. I always thought it would be made more sense for Star Trek and Star Wars to kind of meet up somehow.
You just want to see Han Solo fight a Vulcan.
Not Captain Kirk, actually.
Oh, okay.
That would be. I don't know who I'd choose then. Oh, I think we got another call-it coming up. Anyway. So that's our.
That'd be a great question for a call.
Who would you lose your girlfriend to? Han Solo or Captain Kirk? And then who would win in the fight?
You've not only lost your girlfriend, you've lost your mother, your sister.
Your dog.
Your Wookiee.
That's right. So that's call it for this week. Call it. Who Dat? That's Who Dat for this week. Shoot us an email at feedback at the first run. Do you have any answers? If you're Robert Downey Jr., did you still want to do an Iron Man 4? Perhaps you're Mr. Disney. and you think it's best to cross-pollinate those universes. Shoot us an email and let us know. So we're going to take a break, come back, and we're going to fill you in on what's coming up next week.
You see, in Brooklyn, money changes hands all night long. It's not the kind that you can deposit in a bank. But all that money, it needs to end up somewhere. They call it a drop bar. A bar the bosses choose randomly each night to be the safe for an entire city. You never know up front when your bar becomes a drop bar. You just take all the city's dirtiest money, and bagmen come and go from all over town, and nobody ever sees it coming. Nobody ever sees it going. And then they could tell you to be the drop bar next week. Or maybe even next year. The point is, you never know. In the meantime, me, I just tend bar and wait.
So, Dave, next week we're slated to check out The Drop, starring Bane himself, Tom Hardy. So,
Nailed it.
If that doesn't work out, though, we have Frank in our pocket, which is the Michael Fassbender film where he plays the musician who wears the big plastic head. So either way, I think it's going to be a good show next week. I'm excited to see both those films. Dave, you can always check his stuff out on the Briar Rabbit channel on YouTube with the latest and greatest in video game news. Dave, from what I understand, it was a big week in video games this week. How come?
Oh my God, Chris! Destiny was launched this week. Destiny is made by the guys who made Halo. It's their first game that they've released like multi-platform, like on the PlayStation 4 and on the Xbox One. It is a gorgeous game. It combines systems from all sorts of games, like role-playing games, massively multiplayer online games, shooters just like Halo. It's this huge world that you join with your friends and you play together with your friends to explore this entire world. It's really fun. It's really exciting. It plays fantastic. It's also got like multiplayer one-on-one or like competitive stuff, just like Halo did. It's like Bungie just raised the bar for video games. It really is. It's that amazing.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't have a question for you about it, though. I thought it was weird. There were no early reviews.
Yeah.
Now, is that common for the large games? Like, I mean, this is a big release.
Yeah, it's just like with movies, where normally if you see a game doesn't have reviews before it's released, it's a really bad omen.
Right.
Bungie was out in the press saying, look, this is a game that you play online with your friends. There's no way you could review this fairly if you got a review copy before there were people online to play. So they didn't send out review copies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh, so is it worth me picking up the PS4 white bundle? Is it that good, or am I still waiting for Arkham next year and Uncharted 4?
I like it. I gotta say, I really love it. I'm a big shooter fan. I play Call of Duty from November to November until the next Call of Duty comes out. So I'm a little bit biased here. I really love shooters. This game lets me play a shooter against the computer with a bunch of friends, all laughing and joking the whole time. And that is a really compelling experience for me. It's really fun. If you don't like shooters, if you're really more into kind of buckling down and in the story mode of a game like Last of Us or Arkham Asylum, and really just kind of getting immersed into that story, this might not be your cup of tea. This is really more about playing with friends, that multiplayer experience.
Okay. Thanks. So, as always, check out Dave's stuff on YouTube at the Briar Rabbit channel. You can
That's right.
Check us out at thefirstrun.com. And then on Facebook and Twitter, just do a search for The First Run and you'll find us. And that's the big show for this week. So I want to thank you, everybody, for listening. We're going to take an extended break, and we'll see you all in a week.
See you next week.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.